Welcome to Christian Living in the End Times. I'm Jamie, a pastor, author, and a teacher. Let's look at today, what is money? Yes, we need to know what is money. Well, money isn't important to God, and money should be important to us. Money is directly mentioned in the Holy Bible many times, so that's what we need to do is look into the Bible to see what money is. There are also hundreds of indirect references to money throughout the scriptures, but what is money according to God? Isn't that what we need to know? The first book of the Bible, that's Genesis, provides a working definition of money. Abraham's wife, Sarah, had just died. He wanted to buy a field so she could be buried, and Abraham proclaimed, "I will give thee money for the field." What did he use for money? The scripture goes on to say, "And Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver which he had named in the audience of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, current money, with the merchant." So that's Genesis 23:13 through 17. Silver was used as money. The Bible describes this, he's called Abram here, but later on the Lord renames him Abraham. Abraham's riches. The Lord measured this man's wealth in units of cattle, silver, and gold. And Abram was very rich in cattle and silver and gold. That's Genesis 13:2. So here we can see right away that tangible assets, things that you can touch, tangible assets such as cattle or other commodities, were often used as money. And throughout history, if you look at the history of money, people have used various goods as money, such as goats, wheat, sometimes iron, beaver skins, and shells. However, the Bible, and this is what we're doing, we're looking at the Bible as our final authority for what we believe and how we live. So this is what we understand and believe money is and how we use money. So we get back to the Bible for this. The Bible calls silver money, and it calls gold money. Genesis 44:8 demonstrates the connection between money and silver. It says, "Behold, the money which we found in our sacks mouths, we brought again unto thee out of the land of Canaan. How then should we steal out of my Lord's house silver or gold?" See, they're connecting silver and gold with money. So in the Bible, money had weight. So Joseph's brothers explained or said, "And it came to pass when we came to the inn that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in his mouth, in the mouth of his sack. Our money in full weight, and we have brought it again in our hand." So just like Jeremiah 32:9 through 10 says, "And I bought the field of Hamiel, my uncle's son, that was in Anahoth, and weighed him the money, even 17 shekels of silver. And I subscribed the evidence and sealed it and took witness and weighed him the money in the balances." Since ancient times, this is again way back in Old Testament times, since ancient times, money has had weight. Does the paper dollar you have in your wallet or purse have any significant weight to it? See, it has almost no weight at all. So what we're looking at, the Bible is talking about silver and gold, and it has weight. That's what money is. That's what money is. And so today we use something, a Federal Reserve note is what we have in our pockets normally. Right now, if you live in America, the U.S. dollar, and it has almost no weight to it at all. Or even if you, looks like we're going to digital currency soon, well, that has even less weight to it. So what we're looking at is money we use today does not meet what the Bible calls money. See, we've gotten away from that. Well, another characteristic of money is that it came in the form of valuable coins. Money was stamped and minted as opposed to inked and printed. The above reference called money a shekel, which is one of Israel's coins. Gold is also listed with silver when money is referred to. See, so money is a coin that is stamped and minted. And it takes great pressure and force to put a signature or a sign on the coin. Using these references along with others, many others, we can determine that money has these traits. Money is tangible. You can hold it in your hand, or at least touch it. Money is a precious metal. Money has significance weight. Money can be divided. That's various coin sizes. Money can be minted in a mint, and not printed, minted. Money is valuable. Money is a measure of wealth, and so far in the Bible we're looking at money is silver or gold. Silver or gold. So again, as we're looking at, you go to the store today and they say, well, we need some money to pay for this. Do you get out a silver coin or a gold coin to pay for it? Something has changed. Something is different. Something has happened. We've gotten away from the biblical standard of what money is. Though other things can be temporarily used as money, like cows, as we saw, silver and gold are especially designed by our Creator, by the Lord, to be used for money. Consider gold. Gold is deemed valuable all around the world. It is quickly recognized as something of great worth. One can readily trade gold almost anywhere. Gold is heavy, it has weight. Therefore, a little gold has a high value, making it easier to transport. So, for example, let the average person try transporting a few hundred cows across town. Okay, there are some ranchers that can do that. They have the trucks and the trailers to do that. But most of us can't. Most of us can't. Gold is money because it can be divided. One can make large or small coins. Gold can be easily counted. Particularly, it can be weighed. Because gold is rare, it retains its value from generation to generation. Gold does not rust. Hence, it is able to store wealth for long periods of time without losing value. Abraham was called rich partly because he had a good amount of gold. This metal is a measurement of wealth. One form of gold can readily be exchanged for other forms of gold, so it's interchangeable. We call that interchangeable. Other kinds of money are sometimes more difficult to exchange for another. Gold is easily recognizable and it's difficult to counterfeit. It has a certain weight to it. Trying to counterfeit that weight is very difficult. When is the last time you heard of the alchemist actually changing lead into gold? We've always heard those fairy tales, changing lead into gold. Wow, that'd be great. God designed all of these useful benefits and placed them into this metal, gold. Concerning the Bible, there's gold in them there pages, you could say. The Bible calls gold money simply because gold is money. Have we thought about that? Have we thought about that? Do we really understand how far-reaching that is? Well, silver is also money. It has the same features as gold, but to a lesser degree. Silver is not as valuable. It is plenty valuable, but not like gold. This metal, that's silver, is less rare than gold and could be used for smaller transactions. Silver has similar properties, but is normally thought as a second to gold. Sometimes it's called poor man's gold. Now we can see that silver is money too. Silver has some other qualities. We call it an industrial metal. If in electronics it's needed, you might see it in AI or EVs and things like that, but it has other uses too, so it can get used up. Get used up. So Noah Webster was one of the most notable linguists in early America. In fact, Webster gave the dictionary definition of money in his 1828 classic Dictionary of the American Language. And so as we're tracing English from England to America, here's an American definition in 1828, and you can go back further to that in the English language also, but we're going to be looking at things in our country here, the United States of America, and other countries should be noting this as well, because so many places have to use the U.S. dollar, So here's his dictionary definition of money. It has a Latin meaning. Money and mint are the same word varied. Take note of that, friends. Take note of that. Number 1, coin, a stamped metal. Any piece of metal, usually gold, silver, or copper, stamped by public authority, that's the government, and used as the medium of commerce. We sometimes give the name of money to other coined metals and to any other metal which rude nations use as a medium of trade. But among modern commercial nations, thinking United States of America, Britain, China, the Netherlands, Germany, obviously the great Western civilization plus other emerging nations and markets. But anyway, he's writing this in the 1800s. Among modern commercial nations, gold, silver, and copper are the only metals used for this purpose. Gold and silver containing great value in a small compass, a small amount, that being therefore of easy conveyance, and being also durable and little liable to diminution by use. In other words, it doesn't wear out easy, doesn't wear out quickly. Are the most convenient metals for coin or money, which is the representative of commodities of all kinds of lands and of everything that is capable of being transferred in commerce. Now, number 2, a second entry. Banknotes or bills of credit issued by authority and exchangeable for coin or redeemable are also called money. As such, notes in modern times represent coin and are used as a substitute for it. If a man pays in hand for goods in banknotes, which is current, he is said to pay in ready money. And then the third definition is wealth or affluence. So notice the second one. The second one is banknotes, that you had to redeem your banknote and get a silver or gold coin for that. And so that's the way it used to be with our dollars. It would say, redeemable in so many ounces of gold or so many ounces of silver. So you could take your paper dollar into a bank and they would exchange it for a coin, a minted coin, gold or silver coin. Well, you can't do that today. It's Federal Reserve notes. You go in, all they do is they give you another paper note that's the same. It's the same. And so it's not transferable for something. So really we can't call our Federal Reserve notes money because it's not exchangeable for gold or silver coin. So Webster included all the same traits for money found in the Bible. What do you know? Money is a word of Latin origin which means to mint. You see, you take a piece of metal and you put it in the press and you stamp down on it and you make a coin out of it. You cut it out of a blank and then you stamp and mint it, and now you have a coin. So it's interesting that the word money and mint are virtually the same word, the same meaning, because gold and silver coin is money. Money is gold and silver coin. So money is a metal to be minted and stamped. Money is a coin, usually gold or silver, and as a medium of commerce. Copper is considered money for the same reason, but is of considerably less value. I call it the third precious metal, gold, silver, and copper. Copper coins are also regarded as money in the Bible, and Jesus sat over against the treasury and beheld how the people cast money into the treasury, and many that were rich cast in much. In this verse, the word for money is also the word for copper. So here we see in the Bible, copper coins were also used as money in the Bible, Mark 6:8. Bronze was a copper alloy which hardened the copper and was then minted as a coin. You see, so we have these precious metals, gold, silver, and copper, oftentimes have a little bit of a harder metal mixed with it, so that's an alloy. So sometimes you might have 90% pure, 60% pure, 90% pure, 0.999% pure would be more bullion, but they're softer metals. And so if you're going to carry them around in your pockets and drop them on the floor and put them in coin machines and things like that, you need it to last, so you have a harder metal with it. So for good reasons, copper may be thought of as the third precious metal. Gold and silver are the first two. One verse which contains all three of these money metals is Matthew 10:9. You might want to look this one up. Behold, provide neither gold nor silver nor brass. That's our copper. Brass in your purses. It's revealing also, I thought was interesting, when you look at the periodic table of the elements, copper lines up in the same column right above silver and gold. They have some similar qualities there, so they're lined up. But it almost shows that God's created these for these reasons. So copper has incredible amount of industrial uses also. Copper's in electronics, electricity, and all this. And so it's valuable as well, but not quite like silver, and silver's not quite like gold. But they're all three very valuable, and they're all three used as money and coins. Their monetary value seems to be reflected in the orders as copper comes first, silver next, then gold. The Lord created these metals for man's benefit. We ought to recognize each one as money, since these metals have all the characteristics of money. Money has value due to the metal by which it's made. Money has a great value compacted into a small amount. Which is better to have, a silver dollar or a paper dollar? The correct answer is a silver dollar. Money is wealth. Well, if you had one of the older silver dollars, actually they don't, even though it says on the front, they'll give us a silver coin for it, a silver dollar for it, they won't. So it's better to have the silver coin, Notice that Webster also makes mentions of banknotes and bills of credit. These paper notes were exchangeable for coin. They were redeemable for money, that is, metal coins. Silver or gold coin was required to be available upon demand before a piece of paper could be called money. In order for paper to be used as money, it might be immediately exchangeable for a measured weight of a determined precious metal, and that's what the government was supposed to determine. Can you turn your paper dollar for a gold or silver coin at the bank? Can you they're called Federal Reserve notes, and can you exchange it for gold or silver coin? So in a sense, our Federal Reserve notes really aren't money, at least according to the Bible. Really, the only reason it's money is because people use it as that, but it doesn't have these other characteristics to it. It's not a store of wealth. The Bible identifies money. Noah Webster defines money. Yet do most people today know what money is? Today's United States dollar, USD, is called fiat money. Fiat. Fiat money is defined in Webster's New World Dictionary, 1988, as fiat money, currency made legal tender by fiat. That's a decree. And neither backed by nor necessarily convertible into gold or silver. Notice this carefully. The term fiat money is not even found in the 1828 dictionary. Something must have changed regarding money during the interim. So in the last couple hundred years, something has changed. Something has happened. We're no longer using biblical money. America has gotten away from the Bible. We've gotten away from gold, silver, and copper coins. A little kid years ago having a silver dollar, a silver dime, going into a dime store, the 5 and dime, he had more money in his pocket than somebody who has 1,000 Federal Reserve notes today. It doesn't mean he could purchase more. The purchasing power was more. It means as far as the definition of money goes, one silver dime is more money, according to the Bible's definition, what we're looking at today, than all the Federal Reserve notes that you could have. And as we trace this along, this is incredibly important. If you need to understand this part. I'm reading actually from my Money in the Bible, Christian Living, Rugged Faith. This is chapter number 2, Money in the Bible book, and this is foundational. If you understand this, you'll understand much about the end times that we live in and where it's headed. And if you don't understand this, go back and listen to it again, or again, you can get the free PDF and read this one, because this is foundational to everything else. And it's foundational for two things. One, because this is how we get off of our honest weights and measures money, so that we can, we as in unfortunate governments, I guess you could say, to do things that they ought not to do, dishonest things. And then secondly is that it gets us away from a stable definition, from being God-honoring and Christ-honoring. So anyway, fiat is a Latin term meaning let it be done. Let it be done. The value of fiat money is whatever the entity making it declares it to be. There is no fixed standard with fiat money. That's at the heart of what we're talking about. The value of fiat money constantly changes. We're using fiat. The Federal Reserve note is it's a fiat currency. A simple comparison will demonstrate the difference. A silver dollar is still a silver dollar. Silver does not inflate or deflate like the fiat paper dollar, because it does not change. In order to inflate silver, you have to take all your mining trucks and your excavators and your drillers and all this down to the silver mine in the hillside or in the mountainside, dig it all up and bring it down as ore, and then crush it down and smelt it and refine it, and then take it off and weigh it and pour it and put it in blanks and cut it out and mint it and stamp it. And by the time you do all of this, and all the people involved and all the machinery involved, and finally you come out with some ounces of silver, well, you don't really inflate the amount of silver. You can a little bit, but it's an incredible process. So it's kind of like a self-regulating kind of a thing. You can't have incredible inflation with having precious metal-backed money. But we have inflation today. You see, we have inflation. And so something's different. Something's gone wrong. Something's gone against the Bible. So the value of fiat money constantly changes. A silver dollar is still a silver dollar. An ounce of silver last year is still an ounce of silver today. The ounce hasn't changed. Do you remember the old joke? Which weighs more, a ton of bricks or a ton of feathers? Well, the answer is that they both weigh the same. They both weigh a ton. It doesn't matter if they're bricks or feathers. A ton is a ton is a ton. You see, the same principle is true when comparing almost anything to the paper fiat dollar or Federal Reserve note that we use today. The item size or weight does not change, but the dollar does change. What is a U.S. dollar worth today? See? What is a gallon of gas today? What will it be tomorrow? A gallon of milk today? What will it be tomorrow? But notice, when we're talking about the volume of these liquids, a gallon is a gallon is a gallon. A gallon was the same, a gallon of milk was the same, in 1929 as it is today. A gallon of gas is the same in 1945 as it is today. But the dollar amount will most likely go up. Why? Due to inflation. Yes, there's some supply and demand in that as well, and there will be a little bit of natural inflation over time, but there shouldn't be much, almost none. But we look today and we're thinking, well, what happened? What happened? Inflation means the U.S. dollar is losing its value due to too many of them being printed and circulated. It takes more and more dollars to buy the same thing, the same amount of goods and services. On the other hand, gold and silver retain value. Precious metals are able to store wealth. They are able to keep up with inflation because of their intrinsic properties. We call inflation prices of going up. See, that's what people do. They just say, well, the prices of everything is going up. Well, the prices, they're going up because your dollar is losing value. Somebody is robbing you. We call it the inflation tax. Inflation tax. Just recently, silver, I think, went over $100, and it goes up and down, obviously, and gold hit $5,000, and of course it goes up and down. But again, that's not money. That's just the commodity. That's just the bullion. That's just the what what you can buy on the market, but that's not the same as money. You see, no one really knows what a paper dollar is worth because its worth is regularly changing. It has no standard. The fiat money system fits in well with today's mindset, with how people think, and even sometimes how Christians think, and they shouldn't. I should say how some Christians may think. There is no standard. The fiat money system has no standard. Sometimes people think like that too. There are no standards. Another way of putting it is what's good for you may be different for what's good for me. Live and let live might be called the motto of our times. Well, there really are standards, and those unchanging standards are found in the Bible. It's like we have fiat moral standards. There are moral standards, and we find that there are money standards as well. The Bible specifically names gold, silver, and copper money. You see, in the United States of America, we understood that. We followed the Bible. Noah Webster defines that very well. But now that we've gotten away from the Bible, we've gotten away from God's standards of money. God created these metals for our benefit and for our security. People are saying, well, we don't need the penny anymore. Canada did away with its penny, and the United States is doing away with its penny, and we just don't need them anymore. It costs too much to print them. Well, two things. One, it costs too much of what? Yeah, the fiat dollar, the fiat pennies as compared to the copper commodity, you see. And so something is wrong. Something is different, you see. If you understand the basis of what I'm talking about, you'll see that. Second thing that real money does, the coins, it provides privacy for people. Once you go to a digital currency or things are tracked electronically, you no longer have privacy. You no longer have that. And also your wealth is diminished. Your wealth is diminished too. So the fiat system does those things. Gold and silver, God created these for our benefit and security. Gold and silver money help keep men honest and prices fair. You see, it's a restraint on that. And that's why people don't like it. So they can get away with dishonest things, dishonest prices, unfair prices. The fiat money system was devised by greedy men. People who covet other people's wealth, that's called stealing, coveting and stealing, have come up with a deceitful way to steal from their neighbors by using fiat money. Like we said, the inflation tax is one example. The fiat money system is not backed by gold or silver. There is no standard to the current U.S. dollar. That's the Federal Reserve note. It can go to zero. It can go to zero. There's nothing holding it up, other than what the government, or more accurately, the Federal Reserve, declares it to be. So the paper greenbacks you hold in your hand, is just paper. The Bible standard for money or gold or silver is copper. The Bible standard for money is gold, silver, and copper. To spot a counterfeit, spell F-I-A-T, fiat. What will be the hefty price to pay for jettisoning, ignoring, disobeying God's honest standards for money? Well, may we understand what real money is, and may we make sound decisions according to the Bible. What items, so consider these questions. What items does the Bible call money? We should know that. Name some of the characteristics of money. Can paper ever be called money? And what does the term fiat mean? There's some questions to grow with and to understand. If you understand those questions, the answers to those questions, then you understand this chapter and the basics, the foundation of what the Bible is telling us about money. So in order to go to a cashless money, you have to get away from cash. You have to get away from gold, silver, and copper coins. Thanks for listening.